Namaskar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi became the first Prime Minister since Lal Bahadur Shastri to address the Aligarh Muslim University. He lauded the university for its commitment to the nation, especially highlighting its role in organizing free tests, building isolation wards, building plasma banks, and contributing to a large amount, in fact, to the Prime Minister's Care Fund, PM Care Fund, during the Corona time. Now, highlighting the government's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas theme, the Prime Minister asked everyone to work together to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Also, the United States has given its prestigious military honor, the Legion of Merit, in its highest degree, Chief Commander, to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All this is in focus tonight on Newsnight. My name is Mark Lynn. Let's begin with the headlines. PM Modi addresses the centenary celebrations of the Aligarh Muslim University and says that New India does not envisage nation's development from a political prison. And he asks people to be vigilant against misleading propaganda, says that politics can wait but society cannot, appeals to work together to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India International Science Festival 2020 and says that the government aims to make India the most trusted center of scientific education, says that science and technology are incomplete if they do not benefit the people, highlights India's strengths as data, demography, democracy and demand. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conferred with the prestigious Legion of Merit Award, the highest degree by the United States. The Indian ambassador Taranjit Singh Sandhu receives the honor from the U.S. National Security Advisor. The Prime Minister says that the award recognizes the efforts of the people of India and the United States to improve bilateral ties. Farmers Associations of Uttar Pradesh and Delhi NCR meet the Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. They support the new agrarian reforms. The Agriculture Minister expresses hope of receiving a meaningful response to the letter sent by the government. Major success for the BJP in the DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Massive gains in Jammu. The BJP sees success in the valley as well. The Gupkar alliance emerges as the largest alliance. The BJP says that the people support the Prime Minister's vision of a new Kashmir. Success succeeds success against COVID. And after the 163 days the total number of active cases in the country has fallen below 3 lakhs. The recovery rate is more than 95%. The Health Ministry says that there's no evidence of the new strain in India so far. Every effort is being made to prevent its entry. Countries of the world are taking tough measures against the new strain of COVID. Spain, Portugal, Russia, Poland have taken precautionary steps. Jordan, Chile and Argentina imposed travel restrictions to and from Britain. In a major step to promote Khelo India, the Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju inaugurates 8 Khelo India state centers of excellence across the country. Our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Aligarh Muslim University on its centenary celebrations. And the Prime Minister described the AMU campus like a city in itself, a mini India is what he called it, departments, hostels, thousands of students and professors. And he said that the university's contribution to education is India's valuable heritage. Here's more.
Politics इंतजार कर सकती है, सोसाइटी इंतजार कर सकती है, देश का डेवलपमेंट का इंतजार नहीं कर सकता। गरीब समाज के किसी भी वर्ग का हो वो इंतजार नहीं कर सकता। महिलाएं, वंचित, पीड़ित, शोषित विकास का इंतजार नहीं कर सकते। सबसे बड़ी बात, हमारे युवा, आप सभी और इंतजार नहीं करना चाहेंगे। पिछली शताब्दी में मतभेदों के नाम पर बहुत वक्त पहले ही जाया हो चुका है। अब वक्त नहीं गंवाना है। सभी को एक लक्ष्य के साथ मिलकर नया भारत, आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाना है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message to all the Indians. Prime Minister addressed the centenary celebrations of Aligarh Muslim University on Tuesday through video conference. Prime Minister also released a postal stamp commemorating the event. Calling the youth attending the celebrations as partners, Prime Minister said that ideological differences are natural, but added that for attainment of national goals, all differences must be set aside.
सियासत और सत्ता की सोच से बहुत बड़ा, बहुत व्यापक किसी भी देश का समाज होता है। पॉलिटिक्स के ऊपर भी समाज को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए बहुत स्पेस होती है। न्यू इंडिया के विजन की जब हम बात करते हैं तो उसके मूल में भी यही है कि राष्ट्र के, समाज के विकास को राजनीतिक चश्मे से न देखा जाए। हां, जब हम इस बड़े उद्देश्य के लिए साथ आते हैं तो संभव है कि कुछ तत्व इससे परेशान हो। ऐसे तत्व दुनिया की हर सोसाइटी में मिल जाएंगे। ये कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिनके अपने स्वार्थ होते हैं। वो अपने स्वार्थ को सिद्ध करने के लिए हर हथकंडा अपनाएंगे, हर प्रकार की नेगेटिविटी फैलाएंगे। लेकिन जब हमारे मन और मस्तिष्क में नए भारत का निर्माण सर्वोच्च होगा तो ऐसे लोगों का स्पेस अपने आप में सिकुड़ता जाएगा।
The Prime Minister also stressed that India is proceeding on a path where every citizen is assured of his or her constitution-given rights and no one should be left behind. He said that this is the basis of the pledge Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas.
बिना किसी भेदभाव कोरोना के इस समय में 80 करोड़ देशवासियों को मुफ्त अन्न सुनिश्चित किया गया। बिना किसी भेदभाव आयुष्मान योजना के तहत 50 करोड़ लोगों को 5 लाख रुपए तक का मुफ्त इलाज संभव हुआ। जो देश का है वो हर देशवासी का है और इसका लाभ हर देशवासी को मिलना ही चाहिए। हमारी सरकार इसी भावना के साथ काम कर रही है।
Prime Minister further added that the government is very focused on the education of the Muslim daughters and their empowerment. He said that education brings with it employment and entrepreneurship. The two of these things bring economic independence, which in turn can assure empowerment of the women.
एक समय था जब हमारे देश में मुस्लिम बेटियों का ड्रॉप आउट रेट, शिक्षा में से ड्रॉप आउट रेट 70% से ज्यादा था, 70% से ज्यादा था। मुस्लिम समाज की प्रगति में बेटियों का इस तरह पढ़ाई बीच में छोड़ना हमेशा से बहुत बड़ी बाधा रहा है। लेकिन 70 साल से हमारे यहां स्थिति यही थी कि 70% से ज्यादा मुस्लिम बेटियां अपनी पढ़ाई पूरी नहीं कर पाती थी। आज देश के सामने क्या स्थिति है? पहले मुस्लिम बेटियों का जो स्कूल ड्रॉप आउट रेट 70% से ज्यादा था, वो अब घटकर करीब करीब 30% रह गया है।
Prime Minister said that the new education policy has interdisciplinary subjects similar to one already being taught at the AMU. He added that the aspiration of India's youth has been given priority in the new education policy. He also said that in the last 100 years, Aligarh Muslim University has also worked to strengthen India's relations with many countries of the world. With input from Sudhakar Das, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
So that brings us to In Focus tonight, and In Focus is this. PM at AMU, blending aspirations with national goals. Blending aspirations with national goals. And to discuss this, we have with us Professor Makhan Lal, well-known historian, and also Praful Ketkar is the editor of Organizer. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us. Professor Makhan Lal, it's a 100-year-old now university. It's contributed a great deal to the country. And the Prime Minister, in his message, says, politics can wait, development can't. Putting the importance on where we are going. I mean, if at the end of the day, it's everyone wants development, and that is sabka saath, sabka vikas, and sabka vishwas as well. Put that into context for us.
Mark, probably not many people know that I taught in Aligarh Muslim University for 12 years in the Department of History. I taught history and archaeology.
Okay.
This day is very proud moment for me because I have a lot of emotional attachment with Aligarh Muslim University. And today, Prime Minister going there takes me 56 years, long 56 years back.
Yes, yes.
Out of 16 Prime Ministers, only first and second went and 14 missing. So today it was a great day in my life when I think that I was a senior faculty member in Aligarh Muslim University, and when I think of Muslim universities, connect with Prime Ministers. After all, this is one of the premier institutions, and from 56 to 2020, disconnect with Prime Minister is not a very good sign.
Yes.
And this is for this reason, I would like to go out of way to congratulate the present day administration and great friend, Professor Tariq Mansoor, who is Vice Chancellor,
Yes.
that he thought that he must invite and was able to persuade the Prime Minister to come. And I
Indeed.
think it has been a great day for the 100-year-old institution as a university, though it is much more older than 100 when we think in terms of its education, contribution in education.
Okay.
And Prime Minister rightly pointed out its contribution in the field of education, in the field of upliftment of society, in the field of women education.
Yes.
Because I have been part of the education system in the university. I was a teacher there. I know it so intimately. But one thing we need not to worry, rather we should celebrate. In a society like ours, there is always a scope for different opinion.
Yes.
And as Prime Minister said, that when we move for a larger goal, some
Okay.
people's interests get trampled. They make
Right.
noises. I think that we need to ignore such noises because
True.
in our society, pluralistic society, we have a space for everybody to speak. We
Right.
agree or don't agree, it's another matter. Majority agrees or doesn't agree, doesn't matter.
True.
But their right
Yes.
to speak so remains very intact, and I'm very happy that Prime Minister underlined it.
Right.
That's the strength of our society.
Yeah.
That's the strength of Aligarh Muslim University.
Yes.
And remember that when Aligarh Muslim University was said by Prime Minister that it's not a building, it's not conglomerate of building. It's a history in itself.
True.
100 years
The
long
mini India.
history.
Let's bring in Praful Ketkar into the discussion. Mr. Ketkar, the topic about politics is important in the context that people get misguided because of the feeling of alienation, of discrimination, and the Prime Minister, made some very clear points. He made this clear that 40 crore bank accounts for the poor, no discrimination. More than 2 crore pakka houses, no discrimination. More than 8 crore women get gas connections, no discrimination. 50 crore people got free treatment from Ayushman Bharat, no discrimination. So the point is that, the discrimination is in the minds of people, and that message has to also go out. What would you say?
Absolutely, Mark. I think this was a historical speech in many ways, but I would, like to highlight 2-3 points.
Sure, please.
Prime Minister speaking this at, AMU centenary celebration has a special significance. Because, if really one wanted to say there could have been, and there are elements who always try to create a sort of distrust about Indian systems, Indian government, and AMU has been a very critical center for the same. And therefore, Prime Minister talking about going beyond the words that he used, mazhab and siyasat. Please remember, since pre-independence period till the creation of Pakistan and later, for these two things, AMU has been a critical center, both mazhab as well as siyasat. Prime Minister virtually, build new bridges today by talking to the younger generation and telling them, when it comes to the national goals, we have to go beyond both these things. And there will be always some elements who will try to misguide, who will try to take the discourse in the wrong direction. There will be elements of, discussion and debates and disagreements, but it should not lead into the discord and the divisions of minds. That is important message I think Prime Minister has conveyed through the AMU to the entire community, because please, generally we avoid and we should avoid, but the fact is maximum intellectual leadership to the community of the so-called minorities is given by Aligarh Muslim University. And therefore this messaging of Sabka Vishwas along with Sabka Saath, and he gave the examples, he gave the constitutional, the evidence, the invoked the constitutional rights. And therefore I think this messaging is very, very critical, that if AMU takes this call from the Prime Minister, then it will be a great bridge building as far as building confidence in among various communities of India in thriving and leading to what Prime Minister has called the goal of Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Absolutely, and it was the vision, Professor Makan Lal, for a new India that the Prime Minister was spelling out, and he said that it does not envisage any political angle. It's a vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and asked everyone to work together for it. But he also lauded the role played by Aligarh Muslim University in the crisis time of COVID, which is an extremely important role, and coming from the Prime Minister, that is a sense of assurance given, that the people are aware of the kind of hard work that people have put in during this COVID times. Free tests, building isolation wards, building plasma banks, contributing a large amount to the PM Cares Fund is what the Prime Minister says. You as an ex-member, as an ex-teacher in AMU must be proud of what the AMU has done.
Of what AMU has done, and keeping the small minority apart, AMU remains a forefront in the national stream. And I felt very proud when Prime Minister lauded the role of AMU during the difficult time. That should make AMU people to realize that their contribution to the nation is never ignored. It is lauded no less than Prime Minister. And that should inspire them to participate in nation building with greater vigor, with greater enthusiasm, and with greater devotion. I think it's very important for them to learn the lesson from here, that their contribution in a small field, big field, and to even the contribution to PM Cares Fund or creating a ward, it's all being acknowledged by this society. When PM acknowledges, remember, the country is acknowledging.
Absolutely.
And therefore it's very important for entire AMU faculty to realize that their role has to be bigger and bigger and bigger in the nation building. And Prime Minister rightly said that we may have the difference of opinion, we may have the difference in certain areas, but when it comes to nation, we all belong to one nation and we have to take the nation forward.
Indeed. Praful Ketkar, the Prime Minister there, highlighting the importance of institutions there, taking their responsibilities seriously, obligations to society. And one of the key messages that came out was that he did mention that after Swachh Bharat, the fact that, toilets have been built, the number of Muslim daughters who have dropped out of school has come down significantly, and he acknowledged also the role that the Aligarh Muslim University is playing now in bridge courses for students who've dropped out so that they can catch up. So the Prime Minister, lauding the university for a number of wonderful things that they seem to be doing at this time.
Yes, Mark. One thing that I feel is, whenever the change happens, and as Prime Minister quoted rightly, that if woman is educated, then the entire family gets the education. That has been the old saying in India. But somehow, Muslim community remained away from this dictum, and by quoting some AMU alumni,
yes,
he actually invoked that due to Swachh Bharat, 70% dropout rate has come to 30%, which is a great achievement in
yes,
last 6 years. So one reaching out to these daughters who are aspiring and like to carve out their own space in the society, that was an important message. At the same time, the way he connected with the other rights of women. See, he was talking to the students and alumni of AMU. While communicating with them, the intellectuals and the future intellectuals who are going to provide a leadership to the society.
yes,
At the same time, unfolding the vision about the national education policy,
yes,
because there are already, some kind of clamor that is going on in some campuses about,
right,
the demand for pressurizing the
yes,
government on certain issues as far as NEP is concerned.
okay,
So there also, Prime Minister used this opportunity
fair enough,
to convey his message about the importance of NEP, and in a
okay,
way, AMU, what is already practicing as far as the bridge courses are concerned, it
yes,
is going to be benefited even at the other higher educational institutions
okay.
level.
A final word from you, Professor Makhan Lal. As a historian, the Prime Minister referred to the contribution of AMU to India's freedom struggle. There were so many freedom fighters, but they had different ideologies, but they left their ideologies aside for the country. And how would you look at the fact that he asked these people now to work on the common ground today, to leave their differences aside and work on the common ground for Naya Bharat?
Absolutely, Mark. This is precisely the point I wanted to end with. Prime Minister has acknowledged the contribution of AMU, acknowledged that there may be somewhere differences, but opened a huge bridge to walk over for building up the new nation.
Yes.
And AMU must take the opportunity by horn and walk on that path to build
Okay.
up a new India. Contribute its
Sure.
might in terms of research, in terms of knowledge, in terms of
Yes.
contribution of scientific knowledge, and participate in building up a new India.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor Makhan Lal and Praful Ketkar, for joining us here on Newsnight and throwing light on the Prime Minister's address to the Aligarh Muslim University. Now, moving on to our next story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was conferred with the Legion of Merit in the highest degree by the outgoing US President Donald Trump. The US recognized the Prime Minister's leadership and vision, accelerating India's emergence as a global power. The Prime Minister tweeted that he was deeply honored and that the honor, in fact, recognizes the efforts of people of both countries to improve bilateral ties. Here are the details. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been honored by the United States for his exceptional global leadership since 2014. US President Donald Trump on Monday presented the prestigious Legion of Merit in the highest degree to the Prime Minister. In its highest degree, the US Legion of Merit is awarded to heads of state or government. The award was received by India's ambassador to the US, Taranjit Singh Sandhu, on behalf of the Prime Minister from the US National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien at the White House. PM Modi is credited with leadership and vision, accelerating India's emergence as a global power. He has also been recognized for his exemplary contribution to the India-United States strategic partnership and for promoting global peace and prosperity. President Trump also presented the Legion of Merit to Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The awards were received by their respective ambassadors in Washington, D.C. The citation for the award to Prime Minister reads, "For exceptionally meritorious service as the Prime Minister of the Republic of India from May 2014 to November 2020, PM Narendra Modi's steadfast leadership and vision have accelerated India's emergence as a global power and elevated the strategic partnership between the United States and India to address global challenges. His personal engagement expanded United States-India ties across all facets of the relationship, helping to establish a strong foundation for an enduring partnership. India is a key partner for the United States in the Indo-Pacific, where the two countries are increasingly collaborating to ensure freedom of the seas. Prime Minister Modi's personal initiative strengthened the defense partnership between the United States and India, enhancing the United States' ability to secure joint military cooperation that addressed shared challenges. His efforts to expand India's economic cooperation with the United States has advanced prosperity, investment and job creation in both countries. Prime Minister Modi's superior effort, personal leadership and unwavering commitment to advancing strategic cooperation between the United States and India and promoting global peace and prosperity reflect great credit upon himself, the Indian Armed Forces and his country. The United States joins a list of countries that have conferred their highest honor on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Other awards include Order of Abdul Aziz Al Saud by Saudi Arabia in 2016, State Order of Ghazi Amir Amanullah Khan, 2016, Afghanistan, Grand Collar of the State of Palestine, 2018, Order of Zayed Award by the United Arab Emirates, 2019, Order of St. Andrew by Russia, Order of Distinguished Rule of Nishan Izuddin by Maldives. The outgoing US President, through these awards, has signaled the Quad's growing importance in post-COVID years, seeking bipartisan support for its promotion. The Quad, a quadrilateral strategic dialogue, is an informal strategic forum between the United States, Japan, Australia and India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison have been the architects of the Quad. The dialogue assumed global importance after China revived a dispute with Japan over the Senkaku Islands, transgressed the north banks of Pangong Tso in East Ladakh in India, and showed no sign of slowing down its aggressive claims in the South China Sea, something Australia is deeply concerned about. The navies of India, Australia, Japan and the United States were involved with the Malabar exercises in waters surrounding India in 2020. Newsnight Desk, DD India. And the Prime Minister has written a series of tweets to express his gratitude and reaffirm India's commitment to faster and deeper ties with the United States. The Prime Minister tweeted, and I quote, "I am deeply honored to be awarded the Legion of Merit by the President of the United States, real Donald Trump. It recognizes the efforts of the people of India and the United States to improve bilateral ties, reflected in the bipartisan consensus in both countries about the Indo-US strategic partnership. The 21st century presents both unprecedented challenges as well as opportunities. The Indo-US relationship can leverage the vast potential of our people's unique strengths to provide global leadership for the benefit of the entire humanity." On behalf of the 1.3 billion people of India, I reiterate my government's firm commitment and conviction to continue working with the US government and all other stakeholders in both countries for further strengthening India-US ties. And that brings us to our second point of focus tonight, and this is it. PM Modi leads India's global rise is our second point of focus tonight. PM Modi leads India's global rise, and to discuss this we have with us Dr. Harinder Sikho, is a strategic affairs expert and actually expert in Indo-US relations. Thanks very much, ma'am, for being with us. So the point of this discussion is to try and understand this award and what it means for the post-COVID world. We know that the Prime Minister has received recognitions from across the world, and the Prime Minister in his humility has said that it's really the efforts of the people of India that are being recognized. What extent do you see the people of India and the people of the United States working together in the future in the post-COVID world?
I think as two democracies, there's always been this tremendous soft power advantage between India and the United States, even when politically we may not have been aligned so much. And I think the people-to-people connect has only been strengthened over the years, and more so with the Silicon Valley, the role of the Silicon Valley in the US IT revolution. And the Indian community, the Indian American community has played a tremendous role in that. And also we've witnessed in the last 2 decades that more and more Indian Americans are getting placed in very high positions of importance in the US administration system. And it started with George Bush, continued under the Obama administration, further escalation under Donald Trump, and even the incoming President Joe Biden has named any number of Indians to important posts, and it is an Indian American who is going to be heading the the pandemic, the COVID effort in the United States. I think this.
So the Prime Minister says, ma'am, that it's our people's unique strengths that will provide global leadership, the people's unique strengths of both the countries to take it forward. And you've given us examples of that. But there are also unprecedented challenges as well as opportunities, is what the Prime Minister said in his response. How would you look at that in the context also that this is actually, it's a military award. I mean, it's a military recognition, and the highest military recognition at that, at Chief Commander. Analysts are looking at it from the point of view of the Quad. What do you see the role of the Quad in post-COVID world?
I think the Quad is going to be strengthened further, and this award recognizes India's role, which India has shed its dividends. It was seen as one of the not very strong links in the quadrilateral initiative earlier. And what we've seen in the last 2 years is a gradual evolution of the Quad mechanism and its escalation to the ministerial level. But this also creates a challenge for India vis-a-vis China, because we have this long-standing 8-month confrontation on Ladakh. The Quad focuses more on the Indo-Pacific, the maritime construct, whereas India's core interests are challenged on our land borders. So how we are going to, and of course the United States has said that they are going to assist India. But then this comes with its own set of challenges, because there's been the statement by the Russian ambassador today saying that we are going to go ahead with the S-400, which the US threatens to impose sanctions on India. So this is where we, we work together as two democracies, but India also has other strategic partners. And I think the award is both a challenge and a recognition of India's contribution to the global stage. When it comes to the Quad, it's not just India shedding its dividends on the Indo-Pacific and playing a more forceful role, but even on the bilateral front, US-India relations, we've formalized the 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism, and the third dialogue was held. And when it comes to the military escalation, I think what we need to keep in mind that during Trump's presidency and under Prime Minister Modi, the Comcasa and Beka, the two foundational agreements which had been a work in progress for many years, have got signed, which is going to further strengthen US-India cooperation in intelligence sharing and patrolling the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean. And also, when it comes to sharing not just intelligence, but also for climate change and weather mapping, etc. So it's going to elevate our strategic partnership to a great height. And Trump has said that, what we are aiming at is a global comprehensive partnership between India and the United States.
Right.
And
but Ambassador Sikko, I beg your pardon, Professor Sikko, the US president is outgoing. I mean, so we have to look at the Biden administration. We know that this particular relationship which is a strategic partnership, a strategic plus partnership in a sense, enjoys bipartisan support. To what extent would you see the Biden administration taking this Quad relationship forward?
The Quad, if you see, the pivot to Asia started during the Obama administration. The US rebalanced strategy towards East Asia, as it was called, the Asia Pacific at that time, started under Obama, and Biden was one of the architects. As vice president, he played a very important role in actually articulating. He and Hillary Clinton actually put the nuts and bolts together of this East Asia pivot policy of the United States. So I think Biden, even in his speeches after election, has said that the Indo-Pacific is going to be a very important area for the United States, and they are not going to let go because there are challenges over there, there are economic commitments over there, and the only thing is, they're aware of China's problems which China has created in the Indo-Pacific. But I think at the same time, Biden is going to be less vocal on China. He's going to be less radical, and he's going to be more of a consensus, trying to build bridges with China in a very quiet manner.
Indeed. The fact is that the award has also been given to the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and the current Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. It raises that the Quad has now reached a level where, the US has given its highest military award to the leaders of these countries. In that sense, would you see that the Quad will continue to meet at the highest level, because it has been meeting at much lower levels? Would you see it meeting at the highest level to take this relationship forward?
The fact that all the Quad partners have been honored with this award shows that this is what the United States would like.
Yes.
Australia and Japan are US military alliance partners. So I do not see any, but for India, I think there is going to be the leaders of the four countries have, the foreign ministers have met. And I think on the sidelines, it was about a year ago when Prime Minister Abe and Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, they have met. I think the Australian Prime Minister was not present at that meeting.
Okay.
So I think the heads of state meeting in a Quad mechanism is not something which is not likely to happen. It is very, very likely to happen.
Fair enough.
But the only thing is, as I mentioned earlier, what kind of because so far they've been coming out with separate statements and not a joint statement. So
Right.
we really need to read between the fine lines. If India is, if they're going to come out with a joint statement which is going to call out China as an
Yes.
aggressor,
Fair enough.
I think the United States is going to be a little more mellow under
Okay.
a Biden administration.
Right.
So I feel it's going to be more multilateral and trying to strengthen cooperation amongst the Quad countries
Okay.
to send some firm messaging to China without really getting aggressive against China.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor Harinder Sikho, for joining us and putting this into context for us. Moving on to our next story then. Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered the inaugural address at the India International Science Festival 2020. The Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan was present on the occasion, and speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said that India has a rich legacy in science, technology and innovation. Our scientists have done path-breaking research. Our tech industry is at the forefront of solving global problems, but India wants to do more. We look at the past with pride, but we want an even better future.
आज के इस फेस्टिवल में हम साइंस को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। हम उस ह्यूमन स्पिरिट को भी सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं जो हमें लगातार इनोवेट करने के लिए प्रोत्साहित करती है। फ्रेंड्स, इंडिया हैज ए रिच लीगेसी इन साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड इनोवेशन. Our scientists have done path-breaking research. Our tech industry is at the forefront of solving global problems. But India wants to do more. We look at the past with pride, but want an even better future.
The Prime Minister asserted that the new national education policy will help in fostering scientific temper from an early age. He also said that the focus now is shifted from outlays to outcomes, from textbooks to research and application, and the policy will encourage the creation of a pool of top quality teachers as well. This approach will help budding scientists.
आज भारत के एजुकेशन सिस्टम में स्ट्रक्चरल रिफॉर्म्स किए जा रहे हैं ताकि किताबी ज्ञान से आगे निकलकर स्पिरिट ऑफ इंक्वायरी को बढ़ावा मिले। 3 दशक के लंबे समय के बाद देश को नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी मिल चुकी है। इस पॉलिसी के एजुकेशन सेक्टर को फोकस ही बदल गया है। पहले आउटलेस पर फोकस था, अब आउटकम्स पर है। पहले टेक्स्ट बुक की पढ़ाई पर फोकस था, अब रिसर्च और एप्लीकेशन पर है। नई नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी एक ऐसा माहौल देश में बनाने पर भी फोकस कर रही है जिससे टॉप क्वालिटी टीचर्स का एक पूल देश में तैयार हो सके। ये अप्रोच हमारे नए और उभरते साइंटिस्ट को भी मदद करेगी, एनकरेज करेगी।
The Prime Minister said that the Atal Innovation Mission and the Atal Tinkering Labs complement the new education system.
एजुकेशन सेक्टर में जो ये बदलाव किए जा रहे हैं, इनको कॉम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए अटल इनोवेशन मिशन भी शुरू किया गया है। ये मिशन इंक्वायरी को, एंटरप्राइज को, इनोवेशन को एक प्रकार से सेलिब्रेट करता है। इसके तहत देश भर के अनेक स्कूलों में अटल टिंकरिंग लैब्स तैयार किए जा रहे हैं जो इनोवेशन के नए प्लेग्राउंड सिद्ध हो रहे हैं। इन लैब से हमारे स्कूलों में साइंस से जुड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेहतर हो रहा है।
Well, there was major success for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the District Development Council elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Their party made massive gains in the Jammu region and also saw some success in the valley as well. But the Gupkar alliance has emerged as the largest alliance, and the BJP has said that the people, by coming out and voting and in large numbers, and the results do show that the Prime Minister's vision for a new Kashmir has been supported.
Kashmir embracing the change, Kashmir embracing the dance of democracy like never before. The DDC poll results have brought the BJP to the valley with a bang. The party opened up its account for the first time in Kashmir as its candidates posted emphatic victories in some seats. The electorate trusting Prime Minister's clarion call of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. In 3 districts of the valley, Srinagar, Bandipora and Pulwama, the BJP candidates won the polls and the party workers are ecstatic.
ये पूरे देश में जितने हमारे राष्ट्रवादी लोग हैं ये उनकी जीत है। कश्मीर में जिस प्रकार से इन्होंने माहौल बनाया था कि यहाँ शायद झंडा उठाने के लिए कोई नहीं होगा, ये उनके लिए एक जवाब है। और जो हमारे लोग हैं, हमारे प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर उनका विश्वास है कि उन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को आज यहाँ पे पहली सीट श्रीनगर से जीत के दे दी है।
The party leaders have called the results as victory of democracy. DDC election in charge and Union Minister Anurag Thakur has termed the developments as realization of Prime Minister's dream. BJP leader Shahnawaz Hussain has called it a people's victory.
70 वर्षों में पहली बार जम्मू कश्मीर की जनता को यह अवसर मिला कि डीडीसी के चुनाव में वो मतदान कर सके। और प्रसन्नता की बात यह है कि न केवल मतदान किया बल्कि बढ़ चढ़कर भाग लिया। रिकॉर्ड मतदान भी हुआ, लोगों की जन भागीदारी भी हुई और निष्पक्ष चुनाव हुआ है। डराने का प्रयास किया गया, धमकाने का प्रयास किया गया, लेकिन लोगों ने बढ़ चढ़कर भाग लिया। ये लोकतंत्र की जीत है।
पूरा देश जिस तरह मोदी जी के साथ है, जम्मू और कश्मीर भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के साथ चल रहा है। हमारे विरोधी ने इकट्ठे होकर चुनाव लड़ा, एनसी, पीडीपी, कांग्रेस सब मिल गए, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने कमल खिलाकर जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर दिखा दिया।
The Gupkar alliance has emerged as the largest bloc, followed by the BJP. Interestingly, many independents have also tasted victories and they will be playing a crucial role in days to come.
बहुत खुशी ये सब यूथ का है, यूथ ने मुझे जिताया। अब यूथ के लिए अपने जिन्होंने मुझे जिताया उनके लिए काम करना है।
After the Article 370 was nullified in Jammu and Kashmir, the DDC elections were first elections where polls were conducted in 8 phases for 280 seats in Jammu and Kashmir. News 9 Desk, DD India.
In Arunachal Pradesh, around 53% of the voters cast their votes for the local body elections in the state. Briefing the media in Itanagar this evening, the State Election Commission Secretary Nayali Itte said that at several districts polling was continued in different polling stations even after 4 p.m. and the final poll percentage very likely is likely to increase after all the poll data will be available. Out of a total of 4,89,423 voters, more than 2,58,000 voters exercised their franchise in the polling. And out of a total of 8,475 seats for the Gram Panchayat and Zilla Parishad in the two-tier Panchayat system, 6,500 have already been declared elected unopposed. So now the contest was held for only 1,843 seats today. A delegation of farmers associations coming from Uttar Pradesh and Delhi and its adjoining areas as well met the Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar in New Delhi. So the farmers' representatives extended their support to the farm laws and reform laws of the government, and they also made certain suggestions relating to these laws. Besides that, they have submitted a memorandum to the Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. The Agriculture Minister said that he had a constructive meeting with these representatives of the farmers' unions.
अनेक किसान यूनियन के पदाधिकारीगण आए थे और उनकी ये चिंता है कि सरकार बिलों में कोई संशोधन करने जा रही है। उन्होंने कहा कि ये बिल किसानों की दृष्टि से बहुत कारगर हैं, किसानों के लिए फ़ायदे में हैं और बिल में किसी भी प्रकार का परिवर्तन नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। ये मांग करने के लिए वो आए थे। उन्होंने अपनी बात भी की, उनके मन में जो भ्रांति थी और बाकी जो समस्याएं थी उन पर भी चर्चा हुई। मैं मंत्रालय की ओर से इन सभी किसान यूनियनों का आभार प्रकट करता हूं जो बिल के समर्थन में दिल्ली आए।
And following the meeting, the farmers said that they wholeheartedly supported the new farm laws.
कहीं शंका थी कि एमएसपी जारी रहना चाहिए, मंत्री जी ने उसको बिल्कुल क्लियर किया कि एमएसपी जारी रहेगी। नई चीजें भी किसानों ने मांग की कि मंडियों का आधुनिक मतलब मॉडर्नाइजेशन होना चाहिए, वो उन्होंने अपने मांग पत्र में रखी। किसानों ने 2 मांगे और की उसमें कि जो प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर का लैंडिंग है, जो ऋण है हमारा, वो क्या होता है कि वो संस्थाओं को हो जाता है, वो डायरेक्ट फार्मर्स को होना चाहिए। दूसरा जो मंडी क्षेत्र का सेस है, वो मंडी क्षेत्र का जो सेस है उस मंडी क्षेत्र में ही उसका डेवलपमेंट होना चाहिए। लेकिन कुल मिलाकर इस बात से संतुष्ट किसान थे कि हमारे एक नेता हैं राज्यपाल प्रधान जी, उन्होंने बड़ी अच्छी बात की, किसान आदमी हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि सब सुई बनाने वाले को अपनी कीमत तय करने का अधिकार है अपनी चीज का, तो आखिर किसान को अपनी फसल का मूल्य तय करने का अधिकार होना चाहिए जो भी लिए हमें देता है।
हमारी यूनियन ने इन तीनों कानूनों को पढ़ा है, इनका विश्लेषण किया है और विश्लेषण करने के बाद हम इस नतीजे पर पहुंचे कि ये तीनों कानून किसानों को फायदा देने वाले हैं। इन तीनों कानूनों के लागू होने से किसानों की दिशा में सुधार होगा, किसान की आर्थिक स्थिति बढ़ेगी, किसान के अंदर संपन्नता आएगी। नंबर 1 बात। नंबर 2 बात, फिर भी जो हमारे किसान भाई बैठे हैं वो भी हमारे अपने हैं। हमने माननीय मंत्री जी से कहा है कि जो इसमें भ्रांतियां हैं, जैसा कि किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि एसडीएम जो है उनका शोषण करेगा, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाएगा। किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि मंडी समाप्त हो जाएगी, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाए। किसानों को भय दिखाया जा रहा है कि एमएसपी से कम उनकी फसल बिकेगी, उसको दूर करने का काम किया जाए। माननीय मंत्री जी ने भी आश्वासन दिया है कि निरंतर हम बात कर रहे हैं, करेंगे।
हम ये चाहते हैं संशोधन जो वे किसान बैठे ना उस पक्ष में नहीं, तो सरकार के पक्ष में है कि ये हमारे तीनों बिल रहने चाहिए, इनको ऐसा ना कभी आप कैंसिल कर दें।
The fight against COVID-19 in India has achieved a new milestone. India's active caseload has now fallen below 3 lakhs, which is less than 3% of the total cases. The less than 20,000 daily new cases also is the lowest in 173 days. Recovery rate has improved to 95.65%. Let's look at this report.
India has registered several landmark achievements in the fight against the global pandemic. Daily recoveries exceeding new cases has ensured a total net reduction of the active case load. India's active case load has slumped below 3 lakh, which is the lowest in 163 days. India has achieved a new low in daily cases as well. Less than 20,000 daily new cases were added to the national tally in the last 24 hours after 173 days. The situation has improved to a great extent in the country.
भारत में मध्य सितंबर से लेकर अभी तक लगातार केसेस की ट्रेजेक्ट्री एक डिक्लाइन दिखा रही है। सस्टेन्ड डिक्लाइन, कॉन्टिन्यूअस डिक्लाइन, लगातार घटती हुई संख्या भारत में कोविड केसेस की है। केस प्रति मिलियन जैसा हम हर बार आपको दिखाते हैं, भारत में 7,300 हैं, विश्व में 9,600। अनेक देश ऐसे हैं जहां ये 30,000 या 50,000 से भी अधिक प्रति मिलियन केसेस दर्ज किए जा रहे हैं।
Addressing the media, Dr. V.K. Paul, member Niti Aayog, said that there is no need to panic in view of the new variant of SARS-CoV-2 virus detected in the United Kingdom. Dr. Paul said that as yet, mutated strain of COVID-19 found in the UK has not been seen in India. However, the government is still monitoring the situation to prevent its spread.
जो पिछले कुछ दिनों में पैसेंजर्स यूके से आए हैं, जहाँ भी आए हैं उनके पहुँचो, उनको कांटेक्ट करें, उनके क्लिनिकल कोई इश्यूज़ हुए, प्रॉब्लम हुई, उसको समझें। उसके बाद अगर पॉजिटिव हैं तो जैसे पॉजिटिव्स को हम ट्रीट करते हैं, आइसोलेट करते हैं, वो होंगे। अगर वो नेगेटिव हैं तो वो क्वारंटाइन में रखा जाएगा, उनको वॉच किया जाएगा।
Dr. Paul also said that it's very unlikely that the new strain of coronavirus will have any impact on the effectiveness of vaccines being developed in India or anywhere in the world.
This mutation is not affecting severity of disease as we understand today. Number two, does it increase the chances of death in that country जहाँ से आया, क्योंकि वहीं का ही ये knowledge है अभी? The answer is no. So the case fatality rate is not affected by this mutation. Hospitalization is not affected by this mutation. Seriousness of the disease is not affected by this mutation. What is affected is tendency to infect more people.
We have now a new variant, the variant which was discovered in UK, and this variant is a little bit different. It has 9 mutations, not only a single mutations, and we don't know at the moment if our vaccine is also able to provide protection against this new variant. But scientifically, it is highly likely that the immune response by this vaccine also can deal with the new virus variants.
The government's strategy to trace, test and treat in India has yielded positive results in the fight against COVID-19 and has saved many lives in the country. In the last 7 weeks, the average of daily new cases has seen a continuous decline. India's fatality rate stands below 1.45%. Recovered cases have crossed 96 lakhs, taking the recovery rate to 95.65%. The share of active cases in the total positive cases has further shrunk below 3% to 2.90%. 6 states have contributed 57% of the total active cases recorded in the last 24 hours. These states are Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Maharashtra and Kerala. 3 companies have sought emergency use approval of their vaccine candidates in India. Serum Institute and Bharat Biotechnology Company have provided their data to the expert panel of Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. No decision has been taken as yet. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
The Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said that the CBSE exams for the class 10 and 12 will not be held in the months of January and February 2021. The Education Minister in a tweet said that he received a lot of requests from various students and teachers to postpone the CBSE exams for class 10 and 12, and keeping the COVID-19 pandemic in mind and after various consultations, we have decided that the board exams will not be held in February. The Education Minister also said that exact dates will be announced soon, and the government is in favor of the students. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the centenary celebrations of the Vishwa Bharati University Shanti Niketan on the 24th of December 2020 at 11 a.m. via video conference. The Governor of West Bengal and the Union Education Minister will be present on the occasion. Founded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in 1921, Vishwa Bharati is also the oldest central university in the country. In May 1951, Vishwa Bharati was declared to be a central university and an institution of national importance by an act of parliament. The university followed the pedagogy devised by Gurudev Tagore, though gradually, of course, it evolved in a format in which modern universities developed everywhere. And the Prime Minister is the Chancellor of the university. An increasing number of countries have announced plans to ban flights from Britain following the decisions by several European nations to suspend travel from the United Kingdom following the emergence of the new, more transmissible strain of the novel coronavirus in that country. The Netherlands became the first major European country to announce a ban on flights to Britain, followed by the neighbouring Belgium, which also halted British-bound trains using the Channel Tunnel. Austria and Italy also later followed suit with their own UK travel restrictions. Ireland announced a minimum 48-hour ban on all flights from Britain effective from midnight on Sunday. France decided to suspend all travel from Britain for 48 hours starting on Sunday evening, and the German government will also planned in fact to limit travel with Britain on Sunday. So the Spanish and the Portuguese governments, they've also joined other European countries in suspending incoming flights from the UK. Russia and Poland have also taken steps to halt the spread of the new variant. They've decided to suspend flights from the UK. Besides that, a host of other countries around the world, such as India, Pakistan, Jordan, Chile and Argentina, have issued travel bans to and from the UK. Well, the United Kingdom was stuck in COVID-19 isolation on Tuesday after much of the world cut off travel ties due to a highly infectious new coronavirus strain, snarling one of Europe's most important trade routes, just days before the Brexit cliff edge, with emergency truck parks in Kent filling up and queues stretching along motorways. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson scrambled to get French President Emmanuel Macron to lift a ban on freight from Britain, which was imposed on Sunday night. Trucks headed to France have been stranded on the M20 or in nearby Manston airfield, with some drivers in fact staying in them overnight. Many have now realized that they will not be home for Christmas. And the discovery of the new strain of coronavirus just months before vaccines are expected to be widely available shows a fresh wave of panic in a pandemic that has killed 1.7 million people worldwide and more than 67,000 in Britain itself. Well, the European Union, the EU, has given a green signal to using the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for COVID-19 within the bloc late on Monday. This is hours after the European Medicines Agency, the EMA, made a positive scientific assessment. Efforts have been made to enable the delivery of the first doses of this vaccine by December 26, so that the vaccination can start on December 27. This is what a statement from the EU has said. So a total of 200 million doses were expected to be distributed by September 2021, with 100 million more optional. The Union Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju virtually inaugurated the Khelo India State Centres of Excellence across India in the presence of the ministers from those states, the sports ministers from those states. 8 states include Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Kerala, Telangana, Nagaland, Karnataka and Odisha, with a vision to make India one of the top 10 countries by the 2028 Olympics. The Khelo India State Centres of Excellence will ensure that athletes become proficient in a certain sport, and if they are good in those sports, they're given world-class specialized training, and these centers become the best facilities in the country to train these athletes on a priority in that sport in which they have been earmarked. And the Union Minister also reiterated the vision to see India in the top 10 in the Los Angeles Olympics, which is in 2028. And with that, we conclude News Night for tonight. Thanks very much for being with us. But always remember to mask up before you go out. It's a simple task, just wear a mask. Thanks for being with us. Namaskar.